Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Tracy Sorrentino, and welcome and thank you for joining our new Zoho Campaigns updates sponsored by AspenTech. Um, just so you know, this webinar is being recorded, and we will forward you the recording at the end of the presentation. Just wanted to make sure you knew that. It appears that everybody's able to hear me and able to see me. I'm looking over the attendees list and I'm seeing some familiar names. Welcome, Mark, Riley, Kisa. I'm sure there's others. Those are the top three that I see so far, and it's nice to see some familiar names. All right, so we are here to talk about the new Zoho Campaigns updates. All right, so one thing I wanted to mention to you is down at the bottom on the toolbar, you will see a reaction icon, which is a smiley face. Feel free to add your reactions. Also, there is a icon with a question mark. Your question mark, that means the questions, okay? When you click on the question mark, it's going to allow you to enter a question, and we're going to save our questions till the end of the webinar. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down my video, and that way you can concentrate on the presentation as I go through the webinar. All right. So as I indicated previously, I am Tracy Sorrentino. Welcome to our Zoho Campaigns Updates webinar. I am a Zoho consultant and trainer at AspenTech CRM. I have almost 4 years experience on the Zoho platform and several of the apps. I have 10 plus years of experience working on CRMs and training CRMs. And I am a certified partner on the Zoho Campaigns application. Let me tell you a little bit about AspenTech. AspenTech has been in business for 20 plus years, offering CRM and business related solutions since 1994. Our clients are typically based in North America, and we cover a variety of industries with our clients. The home office is located in Novi, Michigan. And we currently have a team of 10 consultants and support staff that support the Zoho applications. Now, I've been working with a new Zoho upgrade for about 6 to 8 weeks now. And this webinar is basically to tell you what I've learned. Okay, so before we start, let me give you a quick agenda here. We're going to talk about the Zoho Campaigns Integration Update, also known as, for those of you who have used it before, the sync between CRM and Zoho Campaigns. I'm going to talk about the old sync version and the new sync version. We're going to kind of compare the two. I'm going to talk about a subscription type, which is new feature or field in Zoho Campaigns. I'm going to talk about what it does and what it means to you. We're going to talk about building a more robust all contacts database in Zoho Campaigns. And then I'm going to show you how we can use that to segment and organize contacts within the Zoho Campaigns environment. Then we're going to talk about topic management. Topic management is not a new concept. However, it has become much more robust with a new focus in the new Zoho Campaigns update. We're going to talk about assigning topics and what that means to your campaigns. We're going to touch a little bit on automation as it relates to direct marketing and a new widget, which is a productivity widget added to workflows, which is managing your subscriptions. And then we're going to talk, then we're going to open up the floor for question and answers. Like I indicated earlier, there is a question mark in the toolbar on the bottom of your screen. As questions arise during the presentation, please feel free to add your questions to the Q&A side panel, and I will address those questions at the end of the webinar. Let's talk about some benefits of using Zoho Campaigns. A lot of the same benefits as before. Number one, You can send campaigns quickly and easily, and you can track those campaigns in Zoho Campaigns. Now, there are 4 versions currently of Zoho Campaigns. AspenTech typically recommends either the standard or professional version, and that is specifically because there's unlimited emails in both of those versions. Okay. Another main reason, big benefit of the Zoho Campaigns integration is integrating with Zoho CRM. What that does is it gives you the ability to share data between your CRM and Zoho Campaigns. Big win. Okay, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you how to set that up. Also, another thing, I don't know how many of you used it, but you can connect your social media accounts to Zoho Campaigns. And what that does is when you send a campaign, if you have that connection, it's as clear as clicking a checkbox in order for a Zoho social or a social post to go out onto your social media regarding your campaign. Okay, it's a nice feature for things like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Okay, finally, one of the new benefits is that you can manage your emails sent to your contacts based on associated topics. I'm going to spend a lot more time talking about that in the next few minutes. Okay, let's talk about the Zoho integration and why we would use it. Just like for any of you who have gone through my previous Zoho Campaigns webinars, it's to leverage information. Okay, you already have the data regarding your contacts and their contact information in your CRM. Why build the horse again when you can very easily sync that right into your campaigns? Okay. So let's talk about the old Zoho Campaigns. For those of you who've used the sync in the past, you're going to see some similarities, but you're also going to see some differences. Previously, in the old Campaigns sync version, you could sync multiple campaign accounts with one CRM. Okay, that is no longer available, and here's why. In the past, it caused duplicates. If you had the same contact in two different databases, you would have duplicates in your campaigns contact database. And what would happen is any changes, sometimes you would have changes on one record and not on the other. So they took that out totally so you didn't have duplicate records. Next is periodic syncs. In the previous Zoho's this integration, you had an option for periodic syncs. Those periodic syncs allowed you to sync your Zoho contacts and or leads to Zoho Campaigns on a weekly, monthly, or yearly basis. The problem with that was that there were delays in record changes. If I changed something in Campaigns or in Zoho CRM, there was also a delay in when that would feed to the other system. Imagine if a subscriber opted out of a topic and it didn't get fed for a month later, they would still be receiving the emails from that topic. Okay, that's in direct violation of the CAN-SPAM federal regulations. Also, if in fact maybe somebody changed their email address, then you'd be sending it to an old email address that may no longer be valid, resulting in bounces. Okay. So they did away with periodic syncs totally. So all syncing is done immediately. Syncs were available across all core and custom modules, and to an extent that's still the way syncs are working, or this integration is working, but they've made it a whole lot easier. And I'm going to show you that when I demonstrate the sync. And then finally, there were custom views available. You could build a custom view in Zoho CRM and sync it directly to Zoho Campaigns. They've done away with that because now there's a focus on creating this all contacts database and actually moving those custom views from CRM into Zoho Campaigns. But what they do is they call it something else. They call it segments. I'm going to show you how to segment in the database in Zoho Campaigns. Okay, so let's talk about the new campaigns integration. The nice thing about the new integration is that number one, like I mentioned before, you have one Zoho Campaigns account associated with one Zoho CRM. All right. Not only that, your syncs are set up one time. Okay. You set up your sync, and what happens is it syncs afterwards as often as you change information about your contacts, okay? So you set it up once, and then it syncs immediately based on when your changes occur. I'm going to show you that during my demonstration, okay? Not only that, in the new sync, your accounts and deals modules are synced during your contacts setup. Okay, so previously you would set up a sync for contacts, a sync for accounts, and a sync for deals. Now you set up one sync for contacts, and we map our accounts and deals at that same time. We'll show you that as well. We have a new entity or a new field called subscription type, and our subscription type dictates what type of a contact is added to Zoho Campaigns, whether they're active, meaning we're currently active marketing to them, or they're non-marketing, which means inactive. I'll spend a little bit more time talking about that in just a few minutes. And then, like I alluded to earlier, there's no option for syncing a custom view. Now the alternative is creating segments inside of Zoho Campaigns. Okay, so let's look at the actual sync here. This is just kind of a preview of what I'm going to show you. It's a one-time configuration for each module. You're going to see here that I'm syncing my leads module, and I'm not syncing it to a list. I'm syncing it to the all contacts database. Again, you identify a subscription type here. Your subscription type, like I indicated earlier, is either marketing or non-marketing. Marketing is for active contacts going into Zoho Campaigns. Active contacts are those that are currently being marketed to. One thing to know about your subscription type is it's associated with your subscriber limit on your Zoho Campaigns version. Okay, so if you have marketing contacts, let me give you an idea of how you want to think of this. Okay, so as you're importing your you're either syncing your contacts, you're adding your contacts, maybe you're adding a sign up to your contact, a sign up form to get contacts into Zoho Campaigns. You have to determine whether their subscription type is either marketing or non-marketing. Things you want to think about is if they're marketing, in the sync in particular, is how many contacts are in your CRM, and do you want to market to them? Do you want to market to them all at one time? Okay, are they going to be active in your marketing? If they are, you want to bring them in as marketing contacts. Okay, now if they aren't, you can bring them in as non-marketing contacts, meaning they're inactive and they will not count against your subscriber limit. All right, your marketing contacts as active marketing contacts are going to count against your subscriber limit. Okay, now that being said, another thing you want to think about is when you look at your CRM contacts, how many contacts are you moving over to Zoho Campaigns, and what is your subscriber limit? If you're going to go over your subscriber limit, you have to think about how you're going to manage that. Okay. If you go over your subscriber limit, um, it's okay initially to go over your subscriber limit, but once once those contacts get to Zoho Campaigns, you can change them to non-marketing. Okay. And that's what we recommend. Syncing your contacts over as subscription type marketing. And then if you need to mark them as non-marketing or inactive, we can do that in one of two ways. You can do that by selecting them from the all contacts database and updating their subscription type, or we can put in automation that will allow you to automatically update that subscription type. Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that in my demonstration. Then we're going to talk about topic management in just a moment, but it's good to know that during your sync, you can also assign topics, okay? Just like in the previous version of setting up a sync, you set up your sync, and then your second step is mapping your fields. And this is very much the same. You're going to map your CRM fields to your campaign fields, okay? Now, we're going to talk about I'm going to kind of demonstrate to you what a sync setup looks like based on my sync setup. And then we're going to look at the all contacts database, and we're going to talk about creating segments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my Zoho Campaigns instance. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at my sync. Using the side panel, I'm going to click on my contacts, and I'm going to go into my sync services. My sync services currently have 3 active syncs. I'm going to open my syncs, and I want to look at my contact sync. I'm going to open that up so you can see it. You're going to see that I'm going to select my module. Your module at this point are going to obviously be contacts and or leads, but any custom module that has an email address associated with that, you can also sync those as well, okay? Now, there's an option to sync to a list. Okay, this is optional. And let me talk a little bit about lists. Okay, now mailing lists, we are most of us who are doing marketing are familiar with. Okay, you have a mailing list. A mailing list is a group of contacts that you want to send your campaign to. Now, a mailing list is a static list, meaning that once you create that list, that's the list. You can go in there and you can add and remove people manually all day. So you can manage that at a manual level. Okay, so that's a mailing list. There's a new term out there, and this isn't all that new because it's been out on your contacts tab for several months now, called segments. Okay, segments are another type of list. Okay, so segments are very similar to a custom view in the CRM, in that you create a segment based on criteria or your contacts matching criteria. Okay, that being said, criteria are looking at field values on your contact record, and if a contact matches the field values you indicate on your segment, they will automatically be added to that segment. And when they no longer match those criteria, they will automatically fall off that segment. Okay, so the difference: a mailing list is static. You will manually add and remove people from the list. A segment is dynamic, and based on the criteria you create, or the rules you set to include people on that segment, as they match or don't match those rules, they will fluidly be added or removed from that list. Okay, so in any event, you can sync your contacts to a specific list. Okay, now for whatever reason, I synced mine to a date here. Okay, subscription type, this is where you're going to indicate, are your contacts going to be marketing or non-marketing? When I sync my contacts, I want them all to be marketing because I want to be able to actively market to these people. All right. Now, choosing topics. This is where I'm choosing topics, and we'll get into more detail in just a few minutes. But when I set up my sync, I wanted everybody who is being synced into my Zoho campaigns to be a part of my monthly newsletters. Okay. What that does is whenever I send out a monthly newsletter, all of these people are associated with that topic and will get that email. And then it's up to them to decide whether they want to continue to get those emails. Okay. So I've set up my sync. I'm going to select next in the lower right-hand corner. And from the sync, it takes me to the second step, which is mapping my fields. Now, mapping my fields, very much the same as it has always been. You're going to map your CRM fields to your campaign fields. You're going to notice I have last name, email, first name. These are standard fields on the CRM that will automatically map to campaigns. I now also have custom fields, things like interested in, class registrations, referrals, that I can map as well by creating fields in campaigns. What that does is it starts building a robust all contacts database for me to start filtering on those values and creating segments from those values. You're going to notice at the top here, there are a couple other tabs. Remember how I said earlier that in the previous version of Sync, you would have to have synced contacts and deals separately. We are now syncing contacts with accounts and deals. So what happens here is it takes us to another level of data. So from here, I can map all of the accounts that are associated with the contacts. I can map their CRM fields to campaign fields, and I can do the same things with deals. Okay, so what that's going to allow me to do now is I can create segments based on field values at the deal level. So if I want to base my segments on the amount of a deal that might be associated with a contact, I can do that. I can do the same if I want a company type or maybe an industry. Maybe I want to specifically market to a industry. I can do that at the account level because I have that information now. Okay. So once you've set up your segment, you've mapped your fields, then you're going to initiate. Okay. Now, I have already initiated my sync. My sync is currently happening on an immediate basis. As I change things in either system, it automatically runs that sync and it matches everybody up. So all of the data is in both systems. Okay. So I'm not going to initiate that. But I am going to show you, going back to the contacts tab over on the left, my all contacts database. Okay, so via the sync and addition of contacts, we're starting to build this all contacts database. Now, notice something about this database is it looks an awful lot like the contacts module in the CRM, in that it has filters down the side here. Looks like the list view on the CRM. There's some options over here for searching. Okay. You can also select these records, and just like in the CRM, this makes these buttons at the top available to you, and I can assign tags to these three contacts, or I can assign topics. Okay, this is a big one. We're going to talk about topics in just a moment, but this is a way to selectively assign topics to only people you select in this view. Here, there's an option to change your subscription type. Now, these are all marketing contacts because I can tell from my view here, but I can update them to non-marketing or unsubscribed from here as well. All right, so this is a way to manage that subscription type. I can delete. I can copy these these contacts to separate lists. I can mark them all as unsubscribed. I can export them, or I can mass update. Okay. Previously, you in the CRM, you can mass update, and as we make this contacts database more robust, you can start updating fields as necessary and triggering those syncs to move back to the CRM. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to deselect those. And now one of the things I was saying earlier is that because this is kind of like the CRM module, you could create custom modules or custom views, custom views on your module, on your contacts module. Now, typically in the CRM, you would do that from your current view. Zoho Campaigns gives you the ability to create these custom views, but it's not done from here. It's done from your Contacts tab under Segments, okay? If I click on Segments, what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to create a segment here, okay? I'm going to use the button in the upper right-hand corner and create a segment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my segment for local promotions, okay? That's one of my topics. Now, I'm creating this segment, and the criteria for this segment, because they're local, and I'm doing this for Taste and Savor Bakery. For those of you who have been on training with me before, it is a bakery that does things like catering. It has a storefront in Michigan, and we offer cooking classes. So at this point, what I want to do is, because I have a local storefront in Michigan, I want to pull out the contacts that are located in Michigan. So I'm going to indicate that my state is Michigan. Okay, likewise, this local promotion is going to go out to my contacts who have deals that have closed with me. Okay, so I'm going to that lower level information that is not on my contact record, but is on my deal record. Okay, so I want to look at my deal stage. So I'm going to type in deal stage. I'm going to say contains closed. Okay, my deals, they can either be closed lost or closed won. Now, I don't mind if the deal closed lost. I do know that they have some interest in my product. So I want to promote, I want to send a local promotion to all of the people who ever may have contacted me for some reason. All right, so that's why I'm building this local promotion segment. I click Save, and it creates my local promotion segment. My criteria, state is Michigan, deal stage contains closed, and I look at my contacts, and these are the contacts that I have. There are 8 contacts currently in my database that match that criteria. Now, start thinking about this. As I'm continuing through my sales of bakery goods and classes and doing catering, as people in Michigan contact me and we start creating deals and we start closing deals, based on my criteria, these people are going to continue to be added to my segment. So as local promotions happen, this list could grow. It could also shrink if people move out of Michigan. Chances are it's going to grow though. Okay, so that's what that segment's going to do. It's going to allow my contacts to grow here. Okay, so that's how you create a segment. Okay. All right, remember that if you have questions, you can use the question mark down at the bottom to add your questions to the side panel. All right, we're going to go back to my presentation, and we're going to talk about topic management. We're going to switch gears here, and we're going to talk about topic management. I've talked about assigning topics on a couple of times already. Now, topic management, the reason we would use that is to simplify sending relevant content based on my contact's interests. Let me say that again. It's to simplify sending relevant content based on my contact's interest. Okay, topic management is not new, it's just more robust. In the past, our topic managements, our topics were optional. Okay, some of us may have used it, some of us may not, but basically, the old focus for topics was aligned to mailing lists. Okay, as a user, you identified a topic for your mailing list. The reason to identify a topic in the old world and in the new world is so that subscribers knew that they were on a mailing list and they could uh, either select to be continue to be on a mailing list or unsubscribe. Okay. The problem with this is because it was tied to mailing lists, it was oftentimes unclear to the subscriber why they were on a mailing list and what it was that they were supposed to be receiving. Okay. Because it was unclear, people would go in and say, okay, I don't really want this information. So when they unsubscribed from a mailing list, they ended up unsubscribing from all campaigns. Okay. Not a very effective way to use a marketing tool. Okay. So Zoho made some changes to topic management. And what they've done is now topics are going to be assigned to contact records and campaigns. The focus is going to be who has subscribed to a topic and what information they want to receive. All right, so let's take a look here. I have Chris Carter as a contact in my Zoho Campaigns instance. Okay, Chris had subscribed to the monthly newsletter, my bi-monthly recipes, and my upcoming classes. Now, I go in and I create my Zoho campaign, which is I'm going to call December newsletter. I associate a topic, which will be mandatory going forward. When you create a campaign, you associate a topic. This topic coincides with Chris's subscription to that same topic. What will happen is when I create the campaign and I add Chris, and when I add a mailing list, if Chris is on that mailing list, this email from this campaign will go to Chris. Okay, likewise, if I created a campaign and let's say my topic was local promotions, you're going to see that Chris, even though he's on my mailing list, he's not subscribed to local promotions. The local promotions email would go out, but Chris would not receive it because Chris doesn't want to be part of the local promotions. Okay? Okay, so that being said, more new stuff for topic management. Topics are now mandatory. Both your contacts and your campaigns are going to need a topic, okay? So mailing lists can now be created with contacts associated with all kinds of topics, okay? So let's give you an example here. I have John and Mary Smith. John and Mary Smith are associated with topics, or they're subscribed to these topics. Both of them have subscribed to the monthly newsletter in blue. John has subscribed to local promotions, and Mary has subscribed to bi-monthly recipes and upcoming classes. When I create a campaign and my campaign topic is monthly newsletter, when I send my campaign to that mailing list, Mary and John are both going to receive it because they've subscribed to monthly newsletter. Now, if I follow up a campaign regarding local promotions and I use the same mailing list and I send that campaign, John is going to receive the email regarding local promotions. Mary will not because she has not subscribed to local promotions. Okay, so let's take that a step further. Mary receives the email from the newsletter. She looks at it and she says, there's a Manage Preferences link down here. Let me click it. When she clicks it, she's presented with a screen that looks similar to this. This screen lists all of the topics in my Zoho Campaigns instance. You're going to see that selected here are upcoming classes, monthly newsletter, and bi-monthly recipes, okay, for Mary. Now, Mary can go in and she can deselect, thereby removing herself from the topic for upcoming classes or any of these. What will happen is she will drop off upcoming classes, and if I create a campaign for upcoming classes, she will not be on the recipient list of that. She may be on the mailing list, but because she's not associated with that topic any longer, she's not going to get the email. Okay? The beautiful thing about this is that you can now, or a subscriber can now, remove himself or add himself to a topic. All right, so they can, this is now unsubscribing from certain topics, but you can still unsubscribe from all campaigns by going to this page, and there is an option at the bottom of the page. I didn't print out the whole page here. Okay, so that being said, let's talk about topic management how-to. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is how to assign topics to existing lists, which is the best practice. You want to be proactive about assigning your topics so you can start marketing right out the bat. So the best practice is to assign your topics to the existing contacts you have in your campaigns list. Next, we're going to talk about assigning topics when adding a topic, and then we're going to create a campaign and associate a recipient list. Okay, let's go to campaigns. We're going to go to the contacts tab, go to manage lists. I'm going to select one of my lists here. I'm going to select this one right here. And from this list, here's your list summary. But if you go to your contacts tab, you're going to see I only have 4 contacts here. I can assign the same topics to this whole list by going to the More feature in the upper right-hand corner, clicking Assign Topics, and from here, I can add topics as necessary. Okay, click Save. Now all of these contacts have been associated with the selected topics. Okay, now if I'm going to add people into a list, let's go to a list here. And let's say I want to add people to this list, and I'm going to add contacts, and I'm going to import. Okay, frequently a lot of my clients, rather than adding people manually, they import lists of people to mailing lists. To do that, I'm just going to do a quick addition here, or a quick import. I think this is the one I want. So I can select that from my computer. I upload that file, which is just a spreadsheet. From here, this is where I'm going to identify my subscription type. I'm going to identify my subscription type as my marketing. I can associate topics right from here. Okay, so it's not necessary, but you can associate your topics. I am going to associate, I don't know why that's there, but you can associate. I'm going to do my bi-monthly recipes, and then there's a check mark on anytime you add a contact to Zoho Campaigns, you need to give consent to receive emails. So you'll always select that, you click Save, and then you go ahead and map your fields. It automatically maps first name, last name, and email because that's what's associated in my import. I click Save, and I can add tags, but right here, I'm going to select import, and it takes me right through the process. It tells me it's reading the file. It's going to check a pattern. It'll check for duplications, then it will add my new contacts. And it tells you tracks the status through the whole thing. Okay. So it added 1 contact, and unfortunately I have 6 invalid emails on that. So they were all test emails. All right. But that's how you're going to assign a contact. All right. So that's how you would assign a topic to a contact record as you imported them into your Zoho campaigns. Now, let's go into creating a campaign. We're going to create a quick campaign. And I'm going to call it local promotions. Okay, my selected topic is going to be local promotions. All right, I'm going to add a subject. Okay. And I'm going to save that. I'm going to add my sender as myself. And then I'm going to add my recipients. Now, remember how I said there's a difference between lists and segments? You can add one or the other from here. Okay, remember your list is static, your segment is dynamic. I'm going to go to lists because I've already created one that I wanted to add. I simply select that. One thing I want to tell you is you can only add lists or only add segments. You cannot add both at the same time to the same campaign. I click save. I add my content. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to here is this is a very nice feature. I was really worried about this when I sent my first campaign. The number of contacts selected in your mailing list are 4. They've ignored 2 of them because they are not associated with my selected topic, which is local promotions. Exactly what I want it to do. If a contact is not associated with local promotions, I don't want them to receive this email, but they're still on my mailing list. I also have one contact who isn't associated with any topic. And it asks me, do you want to associate that contact with the topic, local promotions? If I want to do that, I can simply click on this and it automatically maps it for me, which I'm going to do. Notice it automatically maps the person in this list who didn't have a topic. It automatically tells me how many recipients I'm sending this to. At that point, I create the content and then I send my email. Okay? That is how topic management works. You select a topic for your campaign and it associates it with your contacts. Okay, next, I wanted to briefly share with you automation. We use automation for drip marketing, assigning topics, and changing marketing contacts from marketing to non-marketing. Now, to do that, let me show you what I've got set up in my campaigns instance. Here is a quick drip marketing workflow that I've created. It's an easy workflow based on the trigger of being added to this list. They will be sent a campaign. When they get the email, if they open it, they're dropped into this bucket where we wait for 5 days. After 5 days, they're sent a follow-up campaign. If they open that one, then we assign that contact a tag and I push it to the CRM. Okay, this is a very simplistic 2-step drip marketing workflow. Okay, what this does is it chauffeurs your contacts through this process automatically. I'm going to go back and I want to show you a template that I've created based on assigning topics. Okay, based on entering a segment, there's a brand new productivity widget out here called subscription management. I add it on here, I click configure, and there are 4 different things that can happen. I can add a contact to marketing contacts simply by selecting them here. I can remove people from marketing contacts. I can mark my contacts as non-marketing. Remember how I said it's so much easier to sync your contacts as marketing and then build automation to make them non-marketing. This is how you would do that. Now, keep in mind, you notice there's no option to mark them from or change them from non-marketing to marketing. I suspect that has to do with billing, the billing of your contacts. Okay. And finally, you can unsubscribe your contacts that enter that list or segment from all the topics. Okay. So those are just some different options for creating automation. Okay, within your CRM or within Zoho Campaigns. Okay, so we're almost getting to the finish line here. Okay, so let's talk about what we've talked about basically. The Zoho Campaigns integration, which is what we started with, is a one-time setup. You set up all of your modules at that time, and then there's an immediate sync. So if you make a change in CRM, it syncs to Zoho Campaigns and vice versa. Okay, it's an immediate sync. So it takes place right after the change. I give it 15 minutes to actually complete the whole process. Next, as you're adding contacts to Zoho Campaigns, we want to build this robust all contacts database so we can start managing our contacts within Zoho Campaigns. Okay. Next, we walked to topic management, and I indicated at that time it's mandatory. You have to have a topic on your campaign. You have to have a topic, a corresponding topic on your contact in order for the campaign email to be sent. Okay, you can have several topics on one contact, and based on the contact that based on the topic they've subscribed to is going to indicate whether they receive an email from your campaign. So the topic is the driving force for sending your campaigns. Quickly, I talked about automation, how it's used for drip marketing, and then the new feature of subscription management and how we can automate managing your subscription by adding and removing topics, unsubscribing totally, or changing your subscription type from marketing to non-marketing. Okay, so based on all of that information, let's talk about how AspenTech could help you. Okay, we can help you set up a topic structure that's totally maintainable autonomously by you, and it will grow with your business. We can also help you adding contacts to your Zoho Campaigns instance using syncs, imports, and we can also help you build sign-up forms that would be associated directly to mailing lists. We can help you create segments or dynamic lists for organization, and it would make sending your campaigns easy. We can help with designing your content. Think of things like formats and layouts and adding buttons, links, dynamic content, creating templates for you to use. And finally, I showed you a little bit about automation. We can facilitate a hands-off process for your marketing process. Okay, so that being said, let's go to our questions. Okay, so Robert asks, we are new to campaigns, never used the previous version. Our current setup is every contact is synced over. One of our lists is all of these contacts. From there, we create different segments to email market to. Are there drawbacks to this other than having a lot of different segments? No, the only drawback is you have to make sure you've got topics assigned. Okay, remember how I indicated, Robert, that sending campaigns is going to be topic driven. It sounds like you've got a good setup here, and with segments based on criteria, contacts will be added to the list and remove when they no longer meet the criteria. Now what you need to do is assign your topics and manage your topics through the campaigns process. Does that answer your question? Perfect. Okay. Robin asks, is there any way to pull over templates from Zoho CRM to campaigns? Zoho CRM campaign templates to Zoho campaign templates. Is that correct, Robin? Assuming that's what Robin is asking about. Oh, email templates. Email templates into Zoho campaigns. No, no, I do not believe so. Zoho CRM email templates are actually created in Zoho Writer, which is associated with um, Zoho CRM. The email templates, I say no, but you know what? I wonder if there's a way to, you know what, Robin? I don't think there is, but I could investigate that and see if there is a way to do that. Um, Marshall, are you still on the phone?
Hey, Tracy, I'm here.
Yeah. Do you happen, I've never had this question before. Do you know if that is a possibility? The possibility.
The only thing I could think of there is maybe we could grab the HTML code from the template in CRM and then import that into campaigns. It's sort of an indirect way of getting that over, but it probably would work.
Okay. All right. And I was kind of thinking that as well. I just don't know how to go about getting that HTML. If you could download that email template as HTML, Robin, I know there's a way to upload an HTML template into Zoho Campaigns.
We could follow up with Robin on that one.
What's that?
We could follow up with Robin on that one.
Yep. Yep. I can, how about if I, yep, you know what? I'll write that down. Okay, Mark, how do you handle excluding new campaign contacts that are not yet in CRM and we don't want synced to CRM until they meet a certain level of interest? How do you handle excluding new campaign contacts? Okay, so you're bringing in campaign contacts that are not yet in CRM, and we don't want synced to CRM until they meet a certain level of interest. So you're adding contacts, and you don't want it synced. That's a good question. I guess I never considered that. Mark, let me look into that and I will follow up with you as well. Fair enough? Awesome. Okay. Robert, we are having issues with the number of bounce backs in some of our campaigns. Lots of email addresses that are for people who are no longer with the company in years and not removing them from our CRM. Is there any service that you guys have used to scrub lists of emails? We use Never Bounce to scrub our contacts, but there are still a lot of bounce backs. Robert, we do not use a third party to scrub email lists. What we do in Zoho Campaigns is as campaigns come in and they do bounce, we actually go in and we remove them. And at that point, we would mark them as non-marketing. But in the same vein, when if in those kind of situations, those contacts do bounce, Zoho Campaigns won't send another email to those email addresses that bounce. Okay. So as far as scrubbing those email lists, I would, I guess any of them would be, about the same to us because we don't use that. But in the same vein, the nice thing about Zoho Campaigns is when a contact email bounces, Zoho Campaigns won't send another email out to those addresses unless you vet them. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, very good. Any other questions? Regarding bounces, do you know if campaigns stop sending like with soft bounces, inbox full, or only with hard bounces? Okay, that's a good question. As I understand it, it will automatically stop hard bounces. Soft bounces, like in the inbox is full, those it will continue to send 3 times. They will try to send a campaign 3 times. If after 3 times they cannot make contact or it cannot be delivered, Zoho will then stop sending to those email addresses. Now, if those email addresses, one thing I want to mention, if those email addresses are for whatever reason valid email addresses and you get the issue resolved, you can contact Zoho support and ask them to clear their I don't know what they call that. It asks you to clear the filter to stop that email so it starts sending again. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Robin. Okay. So if there's any other questions, drop them in the Q&A. Robin, I will be getting back to you regarding your question. And Mark, I will be getting back to you as well. I wanted to take a moment and I want to thank you for attending. For those of you who have questions or inquiries after this, please feel free to reach out to me. My name again is Tracy Sorrentino. I can be reached via email at tsorrentino@aspen-tech.com. There's my telephone number. And if you need technical support, you can always drop us an email at zoho.support@aspen-tech.com. Okay. Any questions left? Thank you, Kisa. Okay, look at that. 2 o'clock right on the dot. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody, have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for stopping in, spending an hour with me. I appreciate that. Again, if you have questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you. And have a good day.